Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's start with some prayer here. So let's just take a breath here. Let it all out. Just knowing that there is only one. There is only one. That's all there is. That's all we need to know. And as we tune in to the divine that is everywhere in its entirety, we just know that that divine lives within each and every one of us, and that there's a place within us that just knows that despite the circumstances of life, there's a place within us that knows that all is well. And so we go to that place, that secret place of the Most High within us that knows that all is well. And if you have challenges in your life, you don't have to know the answer. You just find that place within that says, right now, in this moment, all is well. And I am so grateful, so thankful for Pacific Coast Centers for Spiritual Living and this beautiful community that comes together in joy, in love, in laughter, in growth, and in holding each other. So grateful indeed. And for that, I release this prayer, knowing that it is done, knowing that our time together is sacred, knowing that there is perfect divine right action in order right now. And we say together, and so it is. So it is. Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome. If you're new to Care Circle Sunday, we do this on the fourth Sunday of the month. We do workshop style so that we can take what we've been learning in the past 3 weeks and deepen it even more. So that's why we're here. And we have one more circle. So we have new people. We have circle here with Max. Max is all by himself here. We need some people over here with Max. So if anyone else, do you mind joining here just so that we can, because that makes that building, is that okay? Or, that way. Yeah, we'll have you join Max. And then maybe if there are 2 more people that could join Max who would be willing to come on up front so that we can start another circle up front here, that would be great if there's any volunteers. Thank you. Thank you both so much. Perfect. And then we'll probably have a couple more coming in, so then we'll put them up front here. All right. So Care Circle is our workshop Sunday, and so grateful that you all are here. We're going to talk about minding the mind, and how is that sacred service? How's that sacred service? You get a little curious about that? Like, what does she mean by that? So let's look into that. So if you, logistics here, if you've parked in the parking lot, remember to put your piece of paper on your dash so that we know what your phone number is, so that we can call you in case someone needs to leave early. And that way we can support everyone who wants to leave early. And also turn your phone off. If you have your phone on, please turn it off. Let me make sure mine is off. Okay, good. All right. I first want to thank Betsy Brown. I saw Betsy in here for doing our community-led meditation today. Thank you. Let's give her some love. She is a 20-year student of Zen Buddhism. Wow. And she's ordained in 2013 in the White Plum lineage and is currently completing her koan studies. So thank you for leading us. And we have so many gifted people in our community, and on the fourth Sunday we get to have our community, one of our community members lead our meditation so they can share their gifts and talents with our community. So thank you so much. All right, so our announcements. Next Sunday is Passageway Ceremony, and that is to celebrate our children. And so they are starting school, and we are going to honor them next Sunday. So if you want to bring your kids, your grandkids to be part of the ceremony, let Wenda know. She needs to know how many kids are coming. So let Wenda know so that we can celebrate our youth. It's a really beautiful ceremony. Heartfelt, maybe a few tears too, but because it's our youth, right? That's our future. So let's celebrate them and support them as they start their school year. And let's see. So Jesse, where's Jesse at? Jesse is back there holding vigil for us. He is leading a book study starting September 8th. It's a 4-week book study called When Fear Speaks, Listen. And what if fear isn't your enemy? That's a great question to ask. And the first, is it 15 books, 12 books? How many do we have? First 15 people that sign up get the free book. So we had some beautiful donations of the book for this book study. So if you want the first 15, just please register on Breeze and we'll get you a book, okay? So this is starting September 8th. Soul Sisters discussion group is coming. It's every first Saturday of the month from 10:30 to noon. It's on Zoom. It's with our beautiful Florette. Where's Florette? There she is. Yay! If you have not experienced the wonderful divine Florette, she has the biggest heart. So this is an amazing support group that she has facilitated for many years, and it's another way that we offer support to our community. And this is for our soul sisters. It's a women's support and gathering, and so please join in on Zoom. The link, you can get it through the newsletter or on the website. And of course, our African drumming circle with Des. Wow. We are so excited. The first Sunday of each month, and we have a little bit more air in there now. We have a swamp cooler in there as well as an air conditioner. So we have a little more air in the kids' room. So to support you, because I know it's warm. You guys generate a lot of energy in that drumming circle. So if you haven't been a part of a drum circle before, just go, because it's amazing. You'll feel different. The vibration of drumming just changes you. And so please go and experience it. Even if you don't have experience, you can participate at whatever level you'd like. And it's like drumming is like prayer in action. So it's a beautiful, beautiful offering. So thank you, Des, for offering this. Yes. All right. So we are going to move into our care circle by talking about our care. So we want to care for each other by first asking a word of good. So within your circles or half circles, who's our facilitators? If you can raise your hand so everybody knows who your facilitator is. Okay, good. Please share with the group what is the word of good today, something that positive that is good happening in your life. And please share that word or two with the group. All right, and we're all complete. All right. All right. So the second part of our care for our community is, do I have any heaviness of heart or hardness of head that could be in the way of you being present here today? So if there's something kind of ruminating in your mind that might be a distraction and you would like prayer, please, if you can share it with the circle, and then we are going to do a community prayer to pray everything up. So go ahead and share with your facilitator, with your group, what it is, heaviness. And please, if you could keep it succinct so we can move through, that would be amazing. With the mic.
There we go.
Okay. That was the like bottom line.
So just, moving forward with it.
All right.
All right. And once you have your prayer requests at facilitators, can you let me know if you're complete? If Max is good. They're still working. Okay, Ian's working. You're good. Okay. So I think Valerie and Ian. So we can just keep a prayer field here. It's just holding the consciousness of prayer as we complete our last group. Okay. Valerie, are you complete? Okay. Just a couple more minutes. We're good. Okay. Okay. And Jesse's going to lead us in prayer.
Take a breath with me. Knowing right here, right now, there's the divine creative presence of life everywhere, in everything, acting as us, working through us, each and every cell of our bodies, extending out through the vastness of the universe to the DNA of each cell. Knowing that this creative presence is always active, bringing life and joy and freedom and love. Calling in this presence of love as we call in our ancestors and our angels to be present with us right here and right now. We know that all is good and all is well. And I know this is true, that there is love, there is goodness, there is joy, there is freedom, there is abundance everywhere and through everything in this life. And whatever questions, whatever doubts, whatever worries, whatever cares are dissolved through this presence, through this life, through this love. I say,
Start with Max.
On behalf of our group, I speak this word, knowing that a dear loved one struggling now with some issues in older ages. The breath is clear, the lungs are clear, free breathing flows through him. And also the prayer for one is a prayer for all. And there has been a blinking of light for a dear loved one. And we just speak this word for that light to ever grow brighter and brighter, more joyous and more joyous, as the seeds of doubt, uncertainty, and pessimism fade into optimism and a greater view of life.
We know clarity. We know grace. We know self-love. We know that we move into right action as we are led by Spirit. We know peace and financial support as our pension is reinstated. We know safety for those affected by fire evacuation. And we hold a space of wisdom for people making big choices about their lives and directions they're going.
Excuse me, on behalf of my group, and for all that hear who hear my voice, I affirm peace of mind while undergoing health concerns. I affirm comfort while waiting for those health concerns to be addressed. But I also know healing is already in the mind of God and will unfold as divine intelligence. I affirm and claim the presence of peace, kindness, and compassion as we travel the road to the challenges that exist on our planet.
So adding to all the beautiful prayers that are already spoken, I'm going to add for my group improved balance and improving all around health, and for wisdom and help with a person going on with life without a loved one who has passed. And we add to that harmony in all things.
And continuing in this beautiful prayer field that has been established, just recognizing health and wholeness and vibrant energy. Just knowing that this question of when to do the knee surgery is revealed. There is divine guidance operating. There is the knower that knows that knows. We see this precious soul having knee surgery in divine right timing and dancing after knee surgery with no pain, just dancing away, just like we did this morning. So we celebrate the ability for each and every one of our bodies to move and dance with freedom and fun and joy and vibrancy. And so that is the space that we hold. We hold this powerful prayer field for aging parents, just holding them in our hearts, just knowing that there is support and guidance and health and wholeness, and that all that is needed to support these precious parents that have given so much is available right here and right now. We call forth peace and calm and energy and clarity around, do I stay here? Do I move back to Minnesota? What do I do, dear Lord? Just tell me. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. So we surrender to the I am presence that is expressing as, where is the divine place that I am to live? That's what we hold for our precious group member. And just as we're seeing knee surgery happen with ease and grace and clarity, the same thing is happening with back surgery. When to do it, who does it? We just call forth health, wholeness, healing, vibrancy do I need to surgery or not? We just know that there is divine guidance operating in, through, and as all. We speak a prayer of gratitude for all that is unfolding and all that has unfolded. And I pass this prayer.
Thank you.
I speak a prayer of peace, of comfort, of love for the beautiful life of a godmother now in hospice, giving grace, knowing that all is God. And I say a prayer of ease and grace in affirming and knowing, being properly guided and directed in completing any activities that are still on a list to do, knowing that it is done with ease, grace, and proper direction. I give thanks for all of this.
We give gratitude for the knowingness that there is this divine creative presence, this love that is always active, that heals the body, that heals the mind and opens it to greater possibilities and opens the heart to this magnificent universe of love and graciousness and goodness. And it fills each and every individual and the collective. And I'm grateful for the Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living. Knowing together we're stronger in this unity, in the oneness. And I release these prayers of love and joy, well-being, wisdom, knowing that everything unfolds with grace and ease. I say, thank you, God. And I release this prayer, knowing it's good and very good and done. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Jesse. Let's take a deep breath. Letting it all out. I love that we get to move into our care circle with that prayer field foundation, right? Now we're being held by that prayer that we just did together. So thank you. Thank you. All right. So if you're new or newer to our care circle, it's some workshop style. We do it the fourth Sunday of the month. And we have some guidelines that we request that you follow to keep it a safe space and keep some structure within our care circle. And one is, and this is, I call this gym. We're at the gym right now. Okay. Did you know that? You're at the gym. Okay. Because what you're practicing here today is something very applicable to life out in the world, okay? So the first thing that we request, the covenant, is that you agree to listen and be present without trying to fix or give advice. I know we always have great advice for other people. It's just like the nature of who we are. So let's just kind of let that go and let people share just what they need to share, and you hold space. Is that a good practice to try on today? Okay, good, good. And then when you share from the I space. I know it's sometimes we go into they and them and what others should do, but let's talk about how I feel and my experience. So we're going to share from the I space, and that you're going to bring your best love and attention to whatever or whomever is before you. So if someone's sharing in the group, that you're bringing your best love. And will your mind judge? Probably. That's just the nature of the mind, and we're going to get more into that. But just notice what's going on in the mind when someone's sharing, and just let it drop away like watching the clouds, and bring your best love to someone who's sharing. And doing our best to practice non-judgment and agreeing to love and accept yourself and others as they are. And the key is really to stay present to the best of your ability. And the guide is, if it's loving, if it grows, expands, or deepens love, it's the right thing to do. And these are ways to listen when you're listening, so that if you're in a dyad and you have a listening partner, that you have a partner, then you're listening to them, that you nod so they know that you're listening, that so that you can show understanding. Soft eye contact. You don't have to laser eyeballs to let them know that you're listening. You just want a soft eye contact and a gentle smile, just so they know that you are present with them. I'm right here with you, okay? And it's amazing the healing that can happen when you're a really good listener. Now that's a muscle that we're in the gym to strengthen, because we can take that and add into the world and just listen to people. It's like a pressure relief valve when we get seen and heard. So these are great skill sets that we're building here in our care circle. Okay, everybody in agreement? And this is everything shared here is in confidentiality, not to be taken outside of these walls, okay? And so it is. All right. So let's go. We're going to talk minding your mind as a sacred service. So minding your mind just in and of itself is a great practice, yes? But we're going to do it a little deeper. And let's start. I always like a warm-up dyad. That's my favorite thing. We're going to do a warm-up dyad, because minding your mind requires us to be present, because the mind likes to do what the mind does, and it takes us for a ride. What does it feel like when I'm present? So you're going to choose a dyad partner, and you're going to take turns. What does it feel like when I'm not present? What is my mind doing? What is my body doing when I'm not present? So talk about that. So I want you to talk about that first. So one partner shares on question 1, and then the second partner shares on question 1. And then I'll tell you when to switch to question 2. What does it feel like when I am present? What does my mind do? What does my body do? So that way we can have awareness of when we're not present and when we are. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? Okay, so grab a dyad partner, find a new friend, and let's start with question 1. What does it feel like when I'm not present? And I'm going to give you about a minute and a half for the first person and a minute and a half for the second person. Oops. Okay, so the second person share on question 1. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I have this thing here. I was trying to get a different view. So
sure what this is. Oh, you know, it's like
Oh, it's still loading. Okay.
I don't know how you got to.
Well, I was trying to, there's two different kind of presenter views. So let's go to presenter view and see what happens there. Oh, do we have to reboot?
We'll just do this.
Yeah.
Open it back up. Give it a moment.
Okay.
It takes a while.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, at least the thing is not there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a different view for presenter where it shows you the next slide.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can get that.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to question 2. What does it feel like when I am present? So we're moving on to question 2. What does it feel like when I am present? So share for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then we'll switch partners. What does it feel like when I am present? Did you guys do both already? You're efficient.
Is it this view you were looking for or something different?
It's another one, but it might only be available on a
I
laptop.
think it is.
Yeah.
Because I typed, or I pressed presenter view like this. I think this
Yeah.
is the iPad version of that.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks. And if you can slowly transition to the last person sharing, what does it feel like when I am present? What does it feel like when I am? What does my body feel like? What does my mind do when I am present? All right, so go ahead and start to bring it to a close. And make sure that you thank your dyad partner for listening and sharing as we start to bring it to a close. All right. Good, good. And then let's get everybody's attention up front here. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's take a breath together here. Good. Doesn't that feel to get that breath in? All right. So now that we know what it feels like to be present, which is being mindful, being present to the now moment without judgment, that's our practice of mindfulness. What does it mean to be of sacred service? So let's define, what does that mean? So in Hinduism, Jainism, and Sikhism, there's a word called seva. And seva means sacred service. And seva is the concept of performing selfless service without any expectation of reward. It exists in Hinduism, Jainism, and Sikhism. In Jainism, service is regarded as an internal discipline that cultivates humility, detachment, and moral refinement rather than personal merit or reward. Seva is a Sanskrit term meaning selfless and meaningful service. Such acts are carried out to benefit other human beings or society. However, a modern interpretation of the term describes it as a service that reflects dedication to others. So that's seva. I love that word seva as well. Just there's even that word seva seems sacred to me. So how can we and why do we want to mind our mind as sacred service? We're going to go into that now. And minding your mind is not just self-care, it's a sacred service. The consciousness you cultivate is the consciousness that you bring into the room. Have you ever run into anyone, they're all prayed up, they just came out of the meditation room, and you could, they're like, oh, I'm all zen down. Right? Like their energy field precedes them, right? You can feel them, that they're all prayed up. And you're like, wow, I want to be in your energy field. Let me just try to get it by osmosis, right? And so you can feel that. And you just know that they're like in a really centered place. So if that's true for the positive, we'll put quotes around positive, okay, because that's a judgment too. But, would it be true also for the not so positive, right? Our energy field and the consciousness that we're cultivating. And so we kind of forget that. And I want to tread lightly here because I want to give us a lot of grace. Give us a lot of grace here because we are practicing. We're in the gym. So I call this spiritual hygiene. We take care of ourselves. Spiritual hygiene is the intentional practices of noticing and tending what's accumulating in our consciousness. Are we accumulating fear? Are we like on that vicious cycle? We've been there, right? Where you have a vicious cycle of repetitive thoughts of fear or worry or resentment. Are we on that vicious cycle of judgment or old stories? So we're accumulating that. And so spiritual hygiene, we do it so we aren't unconsciously carrying them around with us. It is more than keeping your thoughts clean. Spiritual hygiene is really about spiritual responsibility. And so if you think about spiritual hygiene, when you brush your teeth, I think everyone benefits when we brush our teeth. Right? I think so. It's good for us, for our long-term health and our teeth. But for the most part, we do it for ourselves. And do we do it for others? Well, yeah. So the same is true for spiritual hygiene. And so, think about physical hygiene. We don't brush our teeth because we are bad or dirty. It's because living creates residue. Right? Living creates residue. And so we do our spiritual practices to help to relieve or to brush or to relieve the residue. And so we're going to talk about spiritual residue and how to tend to it. I tend to my consciousness not only for my own peace, but because other people will eventually experience what I cultivate. So who do we want to be and how do we want to tend to our consciousness? And so mindfulness as self-care, yes, that's a good practice. I feel better. And the focus is my internal peace. And the scope is private and isolated. It's here. And mindfulness as sacred service, the goal is the collective heals. It's about the energy now that I am being in the room. And the scope is shared and relational because we all are in our energy fields are all interacting with each other at this time. And when we prayed, we brought all of our energy field into resonance. When we come in, we're in dissonance because we're coming from different places. It took what it took for us to get here. Whatever's happening in life is happening. And we prayed and we went, we created that collective resonance, yes? And so mindfulness as a sacred service creates that shared relational resonance within us. We start to resonate together. And so the first key is that we are the gatekeepers of our mind. We are the that is minding our mind. And we're not going to be perfect at this. Let me just put that caveat in there right now. We are not perfect. The mind, do you remember last week? Were you here last week? And I had my glasses. Do you remember that? Okay, if you weren't, I'm just do a little quick summary, okay? So we have what's running through the background of our mind are so many filters that we don't have control over. And that's why the practice of mindfulness helps, because we have first our nervous system that just does what it does automatically in microseconds, nanoseconds. Our amygdala fires and tells us we're not safe. So now I'm looking at life, I'm not safe. So if I'm not safe, I must be afraid, right? So now I have this one here. I'm doing this again so we can remember what's happening and grant us some grace, okay? And then if I'm afraid, then what happens? Everyone out there, I'm judging, including myself, because I have to make sure that you're safe. And if you're not safe, then I'm not feeling safe. So we have all this going on. And what else is there? Gosh, name it, there's judgment, resentment, fear, all of it, because we're looking through life through filters. And so we, as the gatekeepers of our mind, we have some challenges here. Do we not? We do, because this is a lot for us. This is a lot. That's why I want us to be nice to ourselves. So if we have judgmental thoughts, we're like, oh, I'm judging again. When am I going to stop judging? I don't know. There's this field that we live in, the soup that we swim in, that the world is judging, right? There's a soup that we're swimming that there's negativity and at the same time, the soup that we're swimming in is full of love and joy and peace. And so where do we put our attention? How do we work with this and keep our sanity, right? And keep any anxiety that we may be feeling, keep that in a manageable place. So we honor this because this is the soup that we're swimming in. Because if we deny it, what happens when you resist it? It persists and it's magnified and so we honor this because this is the nature of being human. This is what we live in this world, where there's time, right? And where this appearance of separation and these filters that we live in. So we honor that. God's expressing in this way. And then we signed up for this, that this is part of what it's being human. But how do we access our godliness, right? In the midst of what looks like chaos. Ooh, that is the practice we signed up for. My. So the gatekeeper isn't standing at the door trying to keep the bad thoughts out. No, bad thoughts. No, because that's resistance. The gatekeeper is deciding what gets to become part of the consciousness from which I live. So I'm choosing to stay there or I'm choosing not to stay there. So a fearful thought can come in. Oh, this is such a relief. A judgmental thought can come in. An angry thought can come in, because are they going to come in? Yeah. But we decide if we want to rehearse it Do we want to rehearse that thought, that angry thought, that fearful thought? Do we want to make somebody else wrong? Do I want to carry it into my next interaction? Yeah. So now it becomes a dance, does it not? Where we're not resisting, we're no longer resisting the soup that we're swimming in. We're like, oh, there's that judgment again. I'm going to put my focus here on God, on love, on joy, on peace. Oh, there's that resentment again. You know, yesterday I was at a meeting and I'm telling on myself. I was at a meeting and this lot big group of people, and this woman walked in about an hour late. And what did I do? Judged, right? Judged. And I know, and then this is practice, right? It's practice. I noticed that I judged. And I said, and then I got curious about why was I judging? And I was so happy with myself. Because I don't know what this woman went through, where she came from. Did she have a flat tire? Did she have an argument with her spouse? I don't know. You know? But I just got curious. And I noticed that I judged because I like to be right. Right? I like to be indignant about, I was on time, why can't you be on time? You know, like that. You know? And so I got to look at that about myself. And when we do that as a practice, the judgmental thoughts we don't latch onto them as much, because that process probably took me, however long it took me, a minute, let's just say, to go boom, 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 boom. And then maybe next time it takes 40 seconds, and then next time it takes 5 minutes. And then next time it takes 30, you know what I mean? We get better at it. We get better. So I want to practice becoming conscious enough to say that this is present in me, but this is not what I choose to cultivate. We have the seeds we want to plant in the soil, but we don't want to cultivate that in our soil, right? That's not the soil we want to plant our seeds in. So we want to cultivate a more fluid, if you will, ability to observe the thoughts and not latch on as much. So we want to just ask, what am I feeding? What am I feeding? Where am I latching on? And what am I getting out of it? What am I getting out of it? And most of the time it's being right. Most of the time. Because being right makes us feel safe. Honestly, I'm right and I'm right about this and I feel safe. It makes us feel safe. And so we're going to move on to a writing exercise. So go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen. So you don't create the seed, you create the conditions that allow it to grow. The awareness is asking, so on this slide it says, awareness asks, what am I carrying? Am I carrying resentment? Am I carrying judgment? Am I carrying jealousy? What am I carrying? Accountability asks, what am I cultivating? I'm like digging in there and I'm letting it run and I'm just justifying it and I'm la la la. So I'm really rehearsing it. And integrity asks, is what I'm cultivating aligned with who I say I am? So think about a situation in your life right now that's not working for you. We're going to go there because those are the ones that are working for us aren't the ones that cause discord in our life. So let's go with the ones something that's not working for you, a situation at your job, a person, maybe a financial situation. What am I carrying? Am I carrying judgment? Am I carrying jealousy? What is the awareness I want to bring to this? So go ahead and write that down. What is it? Write the situation and then write, what am I carrying? And when you're writing this down, remember, we're not judging ourselves about this either, right? We're honoring all of this. We're honoring all of this. So you're noticing, what am I judging? What am I resentful about? So the second is, what am I cultivating? What am I doing with what I'm carrying? Am I rehearsing the conversation in my head, building my case, and feeding the resentment, the jealousy, whatever it is that you're carrying? Am I feeding it? What am I carrying? And I'm sorry, what am I cultivating? What am I just kneading into my soil? You know, I'm like just building it in. We don't want to cultivate those thoughts into the soil that we're planting seeds in. What am I cultivating? These repeated thoughts. And then last, is what I'm cultivating aligned with who I say I am? So, for instance, if I say that I value compassion and connection, is that what I'm practicing, or am I practicing judgment? Just an observation, okay? Just an observation. Is what I'm cultivating aligned with who I say I am? And once again, we are not going to fix this. I'm not going to give you the answers. I want this to be a practice in observing yourself without judgment. Okay? We are stepping up our game. All right, 30 more seconds here. So awareness, accountability, and integrity. So where's the sacred service in all of this? The seva? The seva tells us, what will others experience from me because of what I choose? What am I experiencing? How am I experiencing myself because of what I choose, right? So as our energy fields interact, we get to when I say we're stepping up our game, now we're becoming responsible for our energy field. You see? We're stepping up our game a little bit here. Before, when I was in AA, I didn't want to take responsibility for anything, and so when I was doing the 12 steps, you have to start writing your inventory, and then you have to start taking responsibility for the harm that you caused, in life. And so I did my inventory, and I did, did my amends and took responsibility for my actions. And that was very freeing. And then I came to Science of Mind, and there's like, you have to take responsibility now for your thoughts. It's like, wait, I was really good. I took responsibility for my actions. I cleaned it up. Now you want me to take responsibility for my thoughts? This is too much. Okay. So then I started taking responsibility for my thoughts and started what's going in my mind. And now we're saying, no, we're going to take responsibility for our energy field. Whoa, hang on a second. Can I do that? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Are you going to be perfect at it? No. Are you going to be judgmental about yourself? Probably once in a while. Once in a while, yeah. Yeah, that's part of the practice. That's part of the practice. So let's take a breath here. I want to ask anyone who would like to share an insight that you may have had up to this moment. You don't have to share the details, but what insight have you learned about yourself so far up until this moment? And if you can share at the mic, if I can have two people share, we can share at the mic there. Thank you, Donna. Hello. Put your mouth. It's on.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a situation and I live in a fourplex and there's no carpeting upstairs, people that live there. And they have a child that is almost 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a different way of.
I.
Well, they stay up, they sleep late and they stay up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the opposite. Go to bed early
Mm-hmm.
and rise early. And so they let the little one stay up till midnight or 1:00 in the bedrooms right above me, and she throws things on the floor, no carpeting. And I have thought about saying something to them, but they'll be highly offended because it's just a child,
Mm-hmm.
So I've had this resentment, and my judgment is kids should be in bed. Little kids should be in bed.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with these people?
Yes.
It just festers on and on. And I put earplugs in, I have a fan blowing real loud. It's still, I'm very noise sensitive these days. And so what is happening is I'm full of judgment and resentment, and then I'm just wishing they would move, and it's getting really bad. And and then the integrity part of it is, where's my tolerance? Where's my love? Where's my compassion? And then I'm so busy beating myself up and hating them, and I just think, wow, Donna, you don't have any of this. What's wrong
Right.
with you? So that's it.
Sometimes when we shift, our environment shifts. So you just never know. Not that you have to live with lack of sleep or any of that, but when we shift into compassion, when we shift into a level of, oh, this is my life right now, sometimes, somehow, the world around us shifts. So just keep holding that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyone else? One more person? One more brave soul? Come on up. Sorry. You can take it off the stand if you want. There we go.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm also an AA. So
Nice.
this is something I've been working on a lot actually. It's very kismet that that's what we're talking about today. Yeah, I carry a lot of anger, resentment, and sadness against my ex-wife. I've been very upset at her, and I cultivate a lot of, thoughts of her actions against me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's not in alignment with who I say you know, I like to say that I'm a very peaceful, understanding person.
Mhm.
One thing that I've been working on in my self work is realizing that I have a part to play in things, you know,
Mm.
and that I am not, that my anger is not as righteous as I want it to be,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, that's perfect. Perfect example, and I understand that situation as well. And so we can set ourselves free. That's the idea, because they're renting space
Yeah,
in your head, right?
serves me. I end up
Right.
doing my anger,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and self, you know,
Mhm.
don't use.
Mhm.
I meet the people around me,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
who do I want to be? You know,
Yeah.
doesn't help anyone.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So what do we do, right? Because I think getting curious is really the place to start. Like, this is not like, I'm sorry, your name, I saw it on your name tag. Day. Thank you. This is not who I want to be, but this is how I'm acting, right? But this is not how I want to be. So there's that going on within us. And I think, like, when I was judging that person, the first thing to do is to become curious. Just to become curious. Why? Why am I judging this person? Why am I holding on to this anger? And just sit with that. It really diffuses it, because that self-righteous anger that we can tend to carry, we could just run with it, and then we carry it. We're walking around. You ever do you remember Charlie Brown? And yeah, there's the teacher, wah wah wah, but there's Pigpen. And around Pigpen is this like cloud of dust that is following him all over the place. So sometimes I feel like Pigpen, I'm walking around with all my cloud of resentment and, stuff. I'm carrying it along with me, And so, but if we start to get curious, that's the beginning. We treat ourselves with kindness and become curious. Because we are, whether we want to believe it or not, we are creating a ripple effect. We are. And so we start to look at how and where we're creating a ripple effect. And sometimes we need different areas, different ways of receiving help. As a spiritual center, we have what we offer here, but sometimes we need, to go to therapy and work through some things that are repeated, that we need to keep digging a little bit more to try and work on this ripple effect that we are creating, and honor that this is happening instead of hide and have shame about it. We have ancestral lineage that's affecting us. We have the household that, we were brought up in that's affecting us. And, we were kids, right? Can you give yourself grace for that too, right? You were a kid experiencing whatever you're experiencing with no emotional skills or tools to deal with what was happening. And so all of that we get to just honor and become curious and have lots of compassion for ourselves. And so when Ernest Holmes tells us, change your thinking, change your life, I think that, back in the day, we would just, slap an affirmation onto something, right? Oh, I'm feeling sick. Well, you're perfect, whole, and complete, and da 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 da. And just, and if you had the right affirmation, you just slap it over, and cover it up, and everything's okay. But we are in this practice of changing our thinking and changing our life. But it's the awareness point of catching it instead of bypassing. And so when we see those thoughts, if we can have fun with it, we're going to get curious, right? Why am I having that again? But we could also be like, oh, there you are again, judgment. There you are. What are you doing here? Be playful about it. What are you doing here? And then once again, we're creating a space to choose differently. And this is where sacred service comes in, because now it's about the we. I do this inner work not only because I want a better life, but because I don't want what I have left unconscious and unattended within me to become what I unconsciously bring into the lives of others. Right? So we do the work with kindness. I'm going to say this 100 times because I know how we are hard on ourselves. So we just keep practicing, and we keep practicing, and we keep practicing. Spiritual integrity is closing the distance between the truth we profess and the consciousness we practice. We're closing the gap. Sometimes the gap is big, some days, and sometimes we can really get better at it. Yes, we're getting better at it. And if you're discouraged, you're like, God, when am I going to stop XYZ? When is that? God, like that. Phone a friend. Somebody who's going to uplift you and say, it's okay to be human. I had a friend call me the other day and just was having a day. And I just listened. And she felt better, and I felt better because I could help her. Like, we forget who we are. Do we forget who we are? Yes, of course we do. But how are we going to remember the truth of who we are if we don't forget? It's part of the practice. So you surround yourself. So integrity doesn't mean that your thoughts have to match your beliefs perfectly. If I believe in love, I should never have an unloving thought. No, that's not what we're talking about. That's another version of trying to, put a Band-Aid on it. When an unloving thought arises, can I be honest enough to see it, responsible enough to examine what am I doing with it, and conscious enough to choose what I want to cultivate next? So when it comes up, we don't push it away. We don't resist it. We honor it. This is what's the soup. When I say the soup that I'm swimming in, you ever have like vegetable soup and you stick your spoon in, and sometimes you get the carrots and the potatoes, and sometimes you get the onion, another scoop, it's onions. You just never know what you're going to scoop up in the soup that we're swimming in. What's going to show up on my spoon? Darn it. You become conscious, and if that's not something that you want to choose and put your attention on, you just put it back in the soup where it came from. I love carrots, so I always go in the soup and take all the carrots out, right? So when you scoop up your day, we don't know. We don't know what's going to show up on because of the group consciousness that we're living in. So isn't that great to know that you can just oh, I don't like onions. Put it back. Put it back where it came from. Oh, I love carrots. I'm going to put my attention on carrots today. See? That's the practice. So you're never going to look at vegetable soup the same. I'm so glad. It's like, oh, that's the soup we're swimming in when you see vegetable soup. You might be careful. You might just go into oneness, whoa, when you see vegetable soup. All right. So let's do another dyad. Who will experience the consciousness I'm not consciously cultivating today? Who? So automatically someone's jumped in your mind. So just talk about that. Who will experience the consciousness I am not consciously cultivating today? And what will they experience because I have tended to my consciousness? So this is just a practice of how we affect the world around us. So who will, if I'm not consciously cultivating my mind, who will be the recipient of that in your life? And if I am consciously cultivating my mind, what will they experience instead? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Grab your partner. You might want to take notes and write down your dyad. Write down your answers, because so that you can have notes. Who, if I'm not consciously cultivating, who's going to receive that? If you haven't gone on to question 2, please move on to question 2, and then we'll switch in 1 minute. And go ahead, and if you haven't switched so the other partner can answer the 2 questions, please do. And we'll have 2 minutes. And we have 1 more minute of sharing. All right, let's start to bring your shares to a close. Just thank your partner for listening. All right, let's all take a deep breath in. Let's take a breath together. Breathing here, breathing in and out. Bringing your shares to a close. Thank you, thank you. Are you ready to share, Eileen? How'd you know I was sharing at the mic next?
I know the pattern.
You know the pattern. All right. All
I
right.
do want to share about the last thing, because when you said stop on the affirmation, that's exactly what I did. So this thing about what am I carrying? And I had a friendship and we had a lot of phone calls, and now she has other friends and doesn't call me. So it was jealousy, left out, feeling unimportant. And what am I cultivating by carrying that thought? My worthlessness.
Mm.
And then is what I'm cultivating aligned with who I am? And I wrote, well, I think I'm a good listener, but I'm not being a good listener. And then I said, my name is Manam, M-A-A-M. My needs are always met. And that was just slapping an affirmation on this whole thing that hurts.
Mm. Whew, let's take a breath in. Thank you, Eileen. Yes. Yes. We just acknowledge. Yeah, we just acknowledge what's happening. We acknowledge the feelings. And from there we have power. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to share about any insights that they have received up to this moment? Any insights about the dyads? Anything else coming up for you? We all benefit when you share. Oh, there, Des. Bring us on home.
Well, I just wanted to. Turn it down. You can have the Matt.
Yep, Matt. Woo, Matt. Yes.
The practice of being aware of yourself in the moment is what how I express it. I just want to testify to a little bit of that. To me, it's a little bit like, because I came up in the guardian of my mind. The mind is a battlefield mentality, and I wanted to be the best guard of the avoid keeping things out totally,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then, for me, scriptures flashing, was it's not evil and it will flee, and all that stuff. So we were kind of getting some metaphysical training on the Baptist side. At least Baptist side was coming up with it. But it only works to a certain extent. It's not like a master. It's not a graduation. And I was sitting there, and it connected to a thought and a memory for me of when I was bitten by a black widow. Happened to get bitten lower abdomen, so it was able to spread very quickly. And I rushed myself, well, my girlfriend at the time, rushed out to the hospital. By the time I got there, my systems were shutting down. I couldn't stand, So they rushed me in, I got the golden ticket to pass everybody in the ER, right? But it made me, I had to kind of relook. It was such an attack on my nervous system. I literally had to learn to walk again. It was a process, was less than 24 hours, right? However, that experience, and I like to share that story, but that experience taught me to be different with spiders. So I no longer try to keep them out. When I notice them, I'm way more gentle. And I do that. Oh, you just lost your way. Oh, look at here. This is the apartment I live in. I grab a cup or a bowl and usher them out now, which is kind of never been a thought. Not my life or my community of folks, right? And so, but I've found that being gentler with the thing as it arrives is a much more pleasant experience for both of us.
Right.
I'm frantic to raise my blood pressure. I'm not trying to figure out, is it a leaper? Do I have time to go grab the broom? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just much easier.
Mm.
I'm not all concerned. I'm not rushing off to the kitchen for the cup. We just
Right.
walk, have this conversation, and if it's disappeared in that time frame, okay.
Yeah.
We'll find itself out because I had that gentle conversation with her.
Right.
A much different experience.
Right. Not in resistance. Thank you. I like that statement for ourselves. It's like, oh, we just lost our way. Dear one, we could say that to ourselves, right? Oh, dear one, you just lost your way. It's very compassionate. Yeah.
And then I asked if they're going to pay a little on the bills. If they pay,
Good. So, what do you think? It's a tall order? You think it's a practice that you can, it's a practice you can practice. That's the thing. Amen to progress. But when I had that progress in that room yesterday it just really excited me that progress, it's like, oh, this is, and I've done it before, but it was very I was really like, wow, the cycle's getting closer or faster. It's faster, and so, and I'll say it again, to be mindful of not judging yourself, because that's something that we can jump on, right? That's another thought pattern that we can ruminate and rehearse about how I'm still not doing it right, or they're doing it so much better than I am, and that we can ruminate on that. So we get curious, why am I ruminating on that? Right? And we diffuse it, and we choose again. We choose love, we choose peace, we choose joy, we choose God, we just choose again. Just like the vegetable soup. So, all right. Let us move on to our homework card. So if our facilitators can pass out our homework card. And I want to also emphasize that what you're bringing into the room, I want to emphasize this is not denying if you're in a funky place. If you're in a funky place, that you honor that as well. You honor that you're in a funky place, and you could say, I'm in a funky place, and you're honoring it. You're honoring that I just got in an argument with my spouse, or I just found out bad news. We're not saying to deny what you're feeling. Do you need to sit in your car and regroup? Do you need to just sit in your car and do some breath work? Or do you just need to be in a funky place? So that's not saying to deny. We're saying to honor it all. So on the other side of our homework card, how to cultivate the consciousness you want to bring in the room. So you choose before entering a meeting, your home, work, or any gathering, pause for at least 30 seconds and ask, what consciousness do I want to bring into this room? Choose a quality: peace, curiosity, compassion, patience, joy, and intentionally carry it. Intentionally, like you're intending to bring curiosity into this meeting, or intending to bring curiosity into this conversation, or patience, intend it. And catch, choose, and cultivate. Number 2, once a day, notice a thought or reaction that is creating a consciousness you don't want to bring forward. Don't fight it. Notice it, pause, and consciously choose what you want. So this is in the moment, right? In the moment. Catch it, choose, and cultivate what you do want. What do you want to put your attention and your focus on? And if it's really got you, which sometimes it does, go for a walk. Shift your state. Sometimes you have to move your body to shift your mind, because sometimes just the mind just does what it does. So go for a walk, go to a yoga class, call a friend. Walking always shifts my state. I just see the world a different way when I go for a walk. a healing medicinal walk just to get out and breathe the fresh air. Oh, yes, I say yes to that. All right, all right. Let's take a deep breath in. Let it all out. I want you to turn to your group and I want you to thank them. Thank them for holding space for you. Thank them for listening to you, being present, and showing up today for yourself and for the world. Yes. Thank you all for showing up for yourself and for the world to make this world a better place. And Des, before I say and so it is.
Just the last minute throw in when those thoughts and feeling surprised. I've noticed lately I couldn't say, oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
I can say no, thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah. Yes. And choose again. And choose again. Thank you. All right. And so it is. All right. Thank you all so much. And we will move right into our time of giving. And we have our ushers, our Cheryl and Janet. Thank you so much, Cheryl and Janet, who are also our seaters, who are our welcome team. Let's give Cheryl and Janet some love. They do so much here. Yes, yes. All right, let's read our affirmation together. We give with open hearts to this community with shared commitment and purpose. As we give, we prosper, cultivating growth, connection, and shared abundance for all. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all for the many ways that you give to our center. We are so grateful, so thankful indeed. We cannot do it without you. We cannot do this without you. As we grow and create a shared leadership community, we cannot do it without you. All right. Thank you, thank you. And we'll move into our benediction. So let us all take a collective breath here together. As they're completing. Thank you, thank you. My apologies. I'm jumping right into prayer. Let me let them finish passing the basket. No worries. All right.